We left off in the last session in talking about what the true sacrifice of Jesus was. And we started getting into a bit of understanding a bit more of the religious concepts. And I'm focusing on Christendom just because that is the society that we've grown up in, and that's the one we all understand the best. And I'm going to stay with that for a little while, because what I want to do, and what I feel is appropriate to do, is to continue to expose, not attack, but continue to expose what they do. So I'm going to go straight out and come out with some pretty heavy stuff. We won't stay with this for a long time because there's a lot of good things going on in life, and I'm just not going to focus and make it all negative, because that's not what this is all about. This is just getting a good feeling and understanding of what's going on, and then understanding just how magnificent and powerful we are, and understanding how awesome and the magnitude and the wonder of the outcome that's about to occur here. So let's stay with the church just for a little while. Now, what I'm about to say is pretty full on. But again, I'm just going to ask you just to entertain the concepts of what I'm about to say. Because once again, I'll say, I'm into Christianity, not churchianity. There's a big difference between the two. So, I think, and I feel, and I know, because I was once there, right? So I'm not playing the self-righteous one here, talking through experience. That the modern day priesthood that we have on the planet today is no different to the ancient priesthood. The ancient priesthood that crucified Jesus. No different. It's just found a way to evolve in its methods, and it's come up with more sophisticated methods. And here's a shining example of that. Do you think for a moment, just for a moment, that Jesus was into rituals of any kind? The church is big on putting down people about rituals, right? Right? They frown upon rituals, don't they? Big time. Well, when I was a kid and I had to eat bread and drink wine, I was overcome with the most sickest of feelings deep in the depths of my being. And I used to wonder why I got sick, and I stayed sick for hours each time I did that. And then I had to stop doing it because I couldn't continue. And then later on in life I realised why. Because I was no longer willing to partake in a flesh and blood ritual. Now just think about what I just told you there. When you eat that bread, you're eating flesh, because that's what it represents. When you drink the wine in this thing called communion, you're drinking blood, because that's what it represents. It's what it symbolises. So in the ancient temples, you had this priestly caste that used to sacrifice animals and blood rituals to appease their god. In the year 2000, we have a more sophisticated version of that. We symbolically eat flesh and drink blood. I don't care how anybody tries to dolly that up, fluff that up, pretty it up, justify it in any way, shape or form, at the end of it all, it's a flesh and blood ritual. So as far as I'm concerned, that is not the work of the Christ. Because I know we already have the Christ inside of us. So why would we have to take something from outside of us and put it inside of us to make us merge with the Christ when we already have it within us? Contemplate that. So, if you've got millions of people worshipping every week, doing flesh and blood rituals, getting down on their knees, the question to ask now is, who's running the church? Seriously. I'm not afraid to get up and say this, because I'm a realist. I am a realist. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to speak the truth. Who's running the church today? Who do you think would want you getting down on your knees and begging and praying and begging for mercy like some subservient slave? Who do you think's running the Vatican? Really think. Look at their rituals. They really criticise paganists, don't they? They go, oh, that's pagan. Brrr. Okay, then please explain to me what Easter is. How's Easter derived? Right? Easter is derived by the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox. Hello? If that's not pagan, I don't know what is. Right? The hypocrisy is ludicrous. The contradictions are crazy. It's just incredible. What's Christmas? It's not the birth of the Christ. It's got to do with the winter solstice. Mithra, the sun god, was also born on the 25th of December. Look at this from an objective point of view. Look at it from a realistic point of view. Just look at it, contemplate it, process it, you make your own mind up. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing godly in nature, in the true sense of the word God, happening that's got anything to do with the Vatican or the Church. As far as I'm concerned, that whole institution is run by the devil. That whole institution is run by an energy that only seeks to suppress human spirit, that only seeks to demise and diminish the sovereignty of one's essence, of one's spirit and one's existence. It only wants to feed off the energy of a being's essence. That is reality. That is reality. Now, there'll be a whole lot of people in this world who'll defend that to the nth degree. They'll say that I'm a Satan worshipper. What does the word Satan mean? Again, let's get real. Tell me what the word Satan means. Give me the original meaning of that word. In Aramaic, it means adversary. So if you've got an entity wanting to play God, and you've got someone like Jesus that comes along and makes a stand against the priestly caste, what are they going to call him? Satan. Have a really good think about what I just told you. Now, I'm not talking about Satan worshippers. That's something different, because that word has now been used to label something else. Right? And people who do these dastardly rituals that are very unpleasant indeed. And I've got nothing to do with that. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm getting you to understand the greater concepts. the original meanings of what these words mean, and what's going on in our world today, and what's about to happen, what's about to transpire. Because I'm telling you, if the real Christ turns up, what are they going to say to him? What do you think the Vatican is going to call him? They're going to call him the Antichrist. They're going to call him Satan. They're going to call him Lucifer. Because they want to defend and propagate their idea and their version of what Christ is. Because the personality of the Christ that's being propagated and presented to humanity is not the original guy. They take elements of truth of the original guy and they propagate a version of it. And they sell it for centuries and even millennia. We've been marinating, our DNA has been marinating in this dogma for centuries and even millennia. And when you've got to break free from that hold, because I don't know if you understood what I just said there, marinating in it for centuries and millennia. You know what that means? You've incarnated, all of you, into a bloodline. Because people just think today, remember, you've got to take the whole journey into consideration. You've incarnated into a bloodline. Each one of your bloodlines, somewhere down the track, experienced the dark ages. You've got to understand how many codes are in your genes, how much oppression, how much pain, how much suffering through the dark and middle ages is in your genes, that history. So when someone like me gets up and speaks like this, some of you are overcoming that and you will feel joyous and go, yay, finally, someone's speaking up. This is how I feel. This is what I know to be true. And others, there's going to be a lot of discomfort because we're deprogramming that program. I know because I've gone through this myself. My ancestors, my bloodline, back through my father's bloodline, are the founding fathers of the church. That makes sense, doesn't it? Makes you wonder why I'm up here doing this, right? You imagine what I feel inside this body, inside this bloodline. When, you know, in the Da Vinci movie, right, or in the Da Vinci Code, when that lady's slapping, Silas, right? Because my name is Kavassilas, right? And it goes right back to Saint Silas, who was born in the province of Kavassilas 2,000 years ago with Paul the Apostle. You people have to realise just how much I am this knowledge that I speak. Okay? I'm not making this up. This isn't coming from some fairy theory or I read it in a book somewhere. I live this stuff. I've had to take on this bloodline inside of me. All those energetic patterns inside of me. And for those who understand this, all those entities connected to this bloodline. I had to battle them too. You have the concept of what I've had to go through in this life, right? And I'm not playing the victim here because there's people that suffered a lot worse than I have, right? But please understand, when she was slapping him in that face and she was saying, "Did you kill my grandfather?" He's just looking at her with so much hatred. And he goes, "Oh, every breath you take is a sin." Because that's what it was like back then. They suppressed the female so hard. Their hatred for the woman and the feminine, for her not to have a voice. They worked so hard to make that happen. I know what I'm talking about. I know where I'm coming from. So I'll leave that subject matter there because I think we've discussed it far enough. And I think the message has gone out to those that needed to hear it through our cameras here, because this is going to be seen far and wide. And like the people who are watching this on their screens, you know what I'm talking about. You know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They know. They just won't admit it. They just keep it all hidden. All right. We'll start diverting away from the religious stuff and we get on to Well, let me just go here first. All right, what do we got here? This is good. You've got two modes. You've got two modes of life, two expressions of life. You want to merge them together. Okay? We want to merge them together. So the distance from there to there in two totally separate expressions of life, when you merge them together, you've got the same amount of life, but it's now compressed. So now I'm helping you to understand this road to compression that we've come to, that I spoke of earlier, road to compression. So you have a higher frequency for the same expression of life. It's just compressed. So this, when you begin to integrate life and bring it together, you increase the frequency. You increase your frequency. Do you get what I'm saying here? By integrating our wisdom, by integrating our beingness, by integrating everything that we've been and we've done, it is through that integration process that is how we ascend. That is how we increase our frequency. There it is, plain and simple. It's as simple as it gets in that explanation. And that zone in the middle there, this zone in the middle there, is that symbol there. Look familiar? Yeah? Pretty familiar, huh? That zone in the middle is known as the Vesica Pisces. It is the point of integration. It is the place where everything is in harmony and balance. Now tell me, is that a male thing or is that a female thing? Well, it's pretty obvious what it is, right? The fish of Christianity is not a male thing. It's not a male thing. Thanks. Where's he coming out of? You know how I talked about the high dimensional realm on this planet? Right? When you go into that realm, you're in the realm of the mother. What's happening is that realm is integrating with this realm. And so in this ascension process, we're going to start to see openings occur in our reality here. Organic openings. I'm not talking stargates. I'm not talking technological wormholes here. I'm talking organic openings. You will know intuitively where they are. They're not designated to any sacred site whatsoever. Some might appear there. They can appear in your backyard. Take into consideration all the people that are in hospitals, all the people that are in prisons, all the people that are in difficult areas all around the world. What about them? What about it's time for them to ascend? How do we facilitate that? So you just got to understand that these openings will open anywhere on the planet at any time after the end of this year. It's not going to be, they all open at once, everyone walks through at once. That's not how it works. They'll begin to open at the end of this year and they'll go right through and they will close on the 21st of December 2012. I'll get into that process a lot more later. But I just want you to begin to understand where I'm coming from here. Because it is a female thing. And everybody's being guided to worship a male deity, and a false one at that. It's all about externalising, giving your power away. Pray to Jesus. Imagine that. Here you have, because Jesus doesn't want to be preyed upon. He doesn't want to suck and consume the energy of others that are projecting it towards him. He doesn't behave that way. That's not the behaviour of the Christ that I know. He's not into adulation. Oh, come, let us adore him. He's not into that. Neither's Buddha. Like, I'm using Christ as an example here today, but I'm talking about the same consciousness, no matter what culture you come from. Buddha's not into worship. Krishna's not into worship, not the real one. There we have it again. I just want you to understand that that picture's throughout. It's everywhere. It's all over the planet. You just got to know where to look. You'll find it. There's these sorts of pictures in many places. It's about understanding the organic openings to the higher realms. That is the sacred geometrical representation of how it occurs. Okay? You can't manufacture that from sacred geometry. Again, it's a language that represents, right? We're using sacred geometry to represent this process, this phenomenon. So, what I want to discuss now is this thing called Ascension. Because these openings are going to occur all over the planet. And you're just going to know intuitively. No one can tell you what to do. You'll just know. And we'll walk through at different times. It's quite a bold prediction that I'm making here, I know. You know? Who do you think you are? Some kind of messiah, some kind of prophet. You get all that garbage thrown at you. Because people feel threatened by what you have to say. What are you going to do, George, when it comes to 2013 and nothing's happened? How are you going to feel then? Going to look pretty stupid, aren't you? Okay, I'll go hypothetical, because I know I'm being stubborn here. It's my ego speaking. I'm going to go hypothetical, and I'm going to go, if that scenario occurs, that we're all still standing here paying our bills after 2013, then at least I had the guts, to use an Aussie term, I had that intestinal fortitude, to be more proper about it, to get up and express what I know to be right and true. And if that's the worst, if I've got a cop egg on my face and tomatoes thrown at me or whatever, then so be it. But at least I had the courage to do that without not worrying what anyone else thinks of me. Because what any of you think of me is none of my business. They're your thoughts. Because that's what reputation is, right? What is reputation? It's an illusion. All it's based on is what other people think of you. Just be. Just be you. Doesn't matter what that is, just be you. Right, so ascension process, Mother Earth. Here's my understanding of the ascension process and how it's going to play out. These doorways start to open at the end of this year. Interesting how it ties in exactly with the Mayan calendar. Also, because on the 28th of October, we end this cycle we just began on the 9th of March, which is really started off with a bang, hasn't it? Like, okay, what I'm saying sounds crazy, I know. It does. I totally agree with you that what I'm sharing with you and I'm about to share with you sounds crazy. It sounds deluded and it sounds insane, right? I'm the first to admit that. It's taken me years to assimilate this, to come to peace with this in my own self and get to the point where I can actually talk about it, because this is how crazy it is. So here we have a planetary body that's about to ascend and become a being of light. So you've got a planet turning into a star. That's what I call her. A planetary body that's about to become a star. In case you didn't know, this happens throughout the universe on a regular basis. Just in case you weren't aware of that. Nothing new. From a universal perspective, might be a bit of an issue from here, down on Earth, with your limited awareness, right down, with your awareness shrunken down to the size of a pea. Am I being derogatory? Bloody oath I am. Right? Let's get real here. Our awareness is tiny, a teeny weeny little thing right now compared to the awareness of other life in the universe. Academics have the biggest issue with me on that. They get insulted every time I say that. I was in the bush and we ran into a professor in this place. We were just trouncing through the Flinders Ranges. And I said to him, the Australian Aborigines are probably the most advanced culture on the planet. He freaked out. How dare you insult me? I'm a professor, I went to university and I studied, He went off, he lost it in that moment. I thought, wow, is that a programming defending itself or what? Did his ego and intelligence just get insulted? Absolutely. He's gone through all his life studying everything. He knew so much intellectually. Intellectual body of knowledge was incredible, what he knew about what he studied. But how is it he just had no idea about life when I started sharing life concepts? I'm an ordinary guy. I haven't studied. I did a little bit of electronics engineering, didn't even finish the course. How do I get all this? Isn't it wonderful to know that an ordinary person can achieve this? Leave out the part about Mother Earth ascending, but how about universal structure? How about the understanding of religion? How about everything I'm sharing with you here today? It's natural, it's organic to be connected to the universe, to have knowledge, to have access to knowledge is a naturally occurring organic thing. See? I'm reclaiming my sovereignty. I'm a sovereign being of life itself. I'm now going through the process of no longer being controlled, no longer being owned, and no longer being used as a resource. Those days are gone. And you go, but you're still paying your bills, so you're still a resource. I'm going through the process of it. So close now, you wait and see, not long to go. So Mother Earth is going to become a being of light. And her light that she will emanate, to me, this is just my interpretation, other people might have another interpretation, is a soft magenta colour. And when I saw that picture, I just went, yeah, that nailed it for me. That's awesome. Just a soft magenta colour. That, to me, is my understanding. Not this violet flame business, please. That's a whole different ballgame. Right? Just a nice, soft magenta colour. And the sun is going through a transitional period and its light will soften as well. It won't be harsh. Still be the same colour, it just won't be as aggressive. We're experiencing it on a very aggressive scale because it's right at the end of the process. And all this energy coming through the centre of the galaxy, through the core of the sun to the Earth, it's very intense right now. I mean, come on. When I was a kid, and I'm 44, when I was a kid, I used to spend all day at the beach. I could spend, because I grew up around water, a lot around water, and I used to go to the beach 3-4 days in a row on school holidays in the summer. And they were 34, 35 degree days. No suntan lotion, all day, each day, day after day in the sun. And it wasn't until the 4th and 5th day that I started to get a little bit of sunburn. Just a little bit. I can't go out on a 20 degree day now, 20 degrees, and be out there with a shirt off for more than 2 hours without getting burnt. Now, if you want to tell me things haven't changed quickly, you better think again. Because all you've got to do is remember back to your childhoods and start remembering what life was like when we were kids. Because you get programmed to forget yesterday, right? Now ask those people in Japan how quickly life can change. Hey? I'm telling you, life is going to change on this planet dramatically, and I haven't even got to the real big stuff yet, like the whole of the Earth's crust disappearing. Oh, George, you're a doomsayer. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Just like a snake shedding its skin to be reborn, so does Mother Earth need to go through that process, but on a planetary level. I'll explain why. Let me explain this to you. A lot of people have this idea of what ascension is and what it's like to be in an ascended state. And like I said, I've experienced all the 4D realms, not every single one in this lifetime, but a lot of them. I've interacted with a lot of ET races. I've been into holographic realities, 4D ones inside this planet and on other planetary systems, including Mars. They've got some there. And I've been to the fifth dimension and I took that journey up through the universe. So I've got a good understanding of what's going on. Now, when she becomes a being of light, she needs to transmute and let go and get beyond the lower vibratory paradigms of her body, of her beingness. Just like any individual, if they're going to go through this ascension process, we need to transmute our lower vibratory aspects of self. So if you look around our natural environment and you think, that's really beautiful, and it is, there's great beauty to our natural kingdom. And you look at a sunset and you think, gee, Father, Son and Mother Earth are doing beautiful art today. They do, they make beautiful art. Sometimes we see pictures almost like that. And you look really closely at nature, look beneath the beauty, and you will see that everything kills everything in order to survive. It's completely barbaric. And so you've got this new age concept that we're all just going to be loving one another on an earthly level as humanity. We're going to start loving nature again, and everything's going to be blissful and everything's going to be lovely. So how can you have, this is a contradiction, it's a paradox. How can you have a group of enlightened beings walking around with a natural environment that's completely barbaric, death and destruction every moment of every day? Because when a zebra is being mauled by a pack of lions while it's still alive, do you think those lions are beautiful in that moment? Do you think the zebra thinks that? Or when I was looking at that bird, which was the awakening part, this is when I really understood this. Here's me looking at this bird going, what a beautiful bird in the tree. I was just so connected with that bird, just admiring it so much. And then it turned around and whacked this worm up against the branch, started hacking it to pieces, and it shocked me in that moment. Because I was in such a loving, positive space. And then I got hit with barbaric negativity in an instant. You know, talk about duality right there. And I thought, crikey, that worm right now does not think that bird is beautiful. I do, but that worm doesn't. And right now, I'm not feeling too good about the bird either. So you can't have a natural environment of death and destruction and have all these beings that are all love and light. It's not possible. It's not a cohesive reality, realm, paradigm. Can't have it. So you've got to come to the terms, you've got to come to realise that the natural environment needs to change. It's changing, it's evolving. Ask people who are really connected to nature, like I did with that gentleman on the Central Coast, Jake. He said it. He said, everything's changing, I can feel it. This natural environment, she's changing. Can feel the shift. So, what does it mean? What does it mean on a practical level? What does it mean for us who love our careers, love our jobs, just got that promotion, feeling good about ourselves, eh? Okay, so I ask you, is your promotion or your renovation or you saving up for that new model car, that new jacket, more important than the evolution of the universe? Again, let's put things into perspective. Because you're focusing on your car, you're focusing on your jacket, but you're not giving any attention to who this planet is and what her journey is. What does she want to do? Because don't take my word for this process that's coming in the next couple of years. Why don't you ask Mother Earth herself if she's going to become a being of light? And what I'm sharing with you, ask her if that's true. Ask her. Don't take my word for it. You go through your own path, your own avenue. See, I'm not going to sit here and go, you have to meditate this way, you have to connect that way, and only through that way you'll connect to Mother Earth. Oh, but give me $1,000 in the process. And then once you go through that, then you connect with Mother Earth, then you get that knowledge. No. Go off, do whatever you like, do it your own way, connect with Mother Earth and ask her. Because I'm not locking you into anything exclusive here. I'm just getting you to realise you're incarnated on a planet, and through people like me who have connected with her, we're getting up and we're saying, hey guys, you just seem to have forgotten a really big piece of life here. And because she still can't talk to you directly and you're not talking to her directly, it's kind of left to people like me to go, hey guys, big changes are coming. Big Mama wants to change. She's going to shift. She's got her own journey happening. You want to be a part of it? No, okay, you've got to get off. Because the Earth's crust is going to collapse in towards centre. She's turning inside out. The natural environment and the crust, because the mineral kingdom that makes up that crust exists on a particular vibratory paradigm. A particular vibratory paradigm. Did you hear what I said? I'm not talking just you in the room, remember that, okay? So that kind of mineral kingdom, because remember there's mineral kingdoms on all sorts of dimensional paradigms in the universe, has served its purpose for the epoch and the era we have been in. We are finishing an incredible era, an incredible epoch. And you are being treated like mushrooms. What's happening now is very profound. And you might say, well, gee, some people say, you're really good at what you do, George. And I go, well, it's naturally occurring because I haven't just done it in this lifetime. See, people have memory of me coming back here 12,500 years ago at the halfway point in the cycle and saying, hey guys, there's some pretty big stuff that's about to happen. Our Lemurian, Atlantean epoch and era, that's done. And they didn't believe me back then, and they sure as hell don't want to believe me again now. But that's all right. I came with a big entourage of people. Like there's lots of us here. And at the moment, I'm the foolish one getting up and speaking early, right? But you wait and see. You wait and see how many people go through this awakening, organic awakening, not because they did a course of any kind, because this is all inclusive. There's no judgment here. And I'll go with that now. I won't divert. The judgment thing. It's very big to understand this. You could be actually quite dark on this life now and still ascend. And all the self-righteous ones go, no, that can't be. I've tried all my life to be so good. I'm the one that should be ascending. They're not allowed to. Now, positive, negative. And then we have the journey of the universe. So, remember, we're taking into consideration the whole journey. So, people tend, it's habitual, they just look at this one lifetime. They look at all the courses they've done, all the meditations they've done, and they're going along, going pretty good with themselves, and thinking, I'm making it, I'm getting there. I'm the one who's going to ascend. And all you other people, you're not going to make it, because you haven't done what I've done. And they feel all uppity about themselves. You see it. Come on, I've been to so many meditation groups and gone to all, I've been through all that stuff. They get very self-righteous about themselves. They're the guys who are hanging out there on the positive side of things. Right? But how do you know in the lifetime before they weren't extremely negative? And a person who's been quite negative in this life was extremely positive in the life before. Because what this is about is attaining balance. Right? This is about balance. Christ, Buddha, Krishna, universal consciousness is about integration and achieving perfect balance. So it doesn't matter what walk of life you are, doesn't matter where you are in your life right now, it's all about achieving balance. And doesn't matter what energetic charge you need from now to the time you go through those doorways to ascend. Doesn't matter. And I say to people, if you've got to go and get drunk on a park bench for 3 months, that's your journey. I'm not going to judge you. But that energetic charge is no good for me. That's not what I need to achieve balance. We're all on our individual journeys, so make sure you follow your soul path, wherever that takes you, whatever that means for you. Because one of the most simple sayings of all, and it's so true, and it's just a word and a letter, it just says it all. That is one of the most magnificent sayings ever. Just be. You don't have to join a priesthood. You don't have to do a certain course. You don't have to meditate like a Zen monk. You don't do anything. If you want to, if that's your journey and that's what you need to achieve balance, do it. That's great. But don't think because you're doing that other people aren't doing that they're not going to make it. Because like I say, Mary Lou, who's a single mum with 3 kids, busting her chops, working 2 part-time jobs, raising her kids, hasn't got time for that stuff. But she's going to ascend. A guy in a mafia, guy in prison, he's going to ascend. A guy who's out in war at the moment, killing lots of people, he's going to ascend. Because that's the set of circumstances, a set of experiences they needed at the very last end of their journey, of this massive universal journey to achieve balance in their soul. So it's about getting off the self-righteous pedestal and not judging people. And just understanding that everyone's on their own journey. And what I need is not good for what you need. And what you need is not good for the person next to you. So stop telling people what to do. I know I just did that. You've got to be a little bit cruel to be kind at times, unfortunately. That's the way it goes in this reality we're in. Okay, so have a think about that. Now, here's a nice one. I'll just go back to this one. I want to show you this picture, because this is a cool picture. I like this one. Another wonderful expression. I had a wonderful experience with the Lady of the Sea. And that picture just really reminds me of that experience. It was fantastic. I haven't got time to go into everything today. Otherwise we won't get any. I could talk tomorrow and the next day, but and there's another picture. Now I'll put that in specifically because I talk about the Nordics, okay? And I want you to know that I'm not racist. I mean, my wife's considered a Nordic, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. So I just want you to know that when I criticise and warn everybody about these particular group of Nordics, I'm not talking about all Nordics. I'm just talking about a particular group from Orion. And I'll get right into that juicy stuff in a moment. Have a go at her there. I think that one's brilliant. So much detail in that one. Yeah, that's awesome. Even get I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I'm just, being real. You even got the nipple there. You got the chin, you got the eyes. It's just beautiful. The whole thing is just magnificent.